When did it click that this wasn't just your father's passion project, but a company you wanted to help scale?
I think it was giving up the band, because my brother that I have created a band with after our band split, he remained a musician. He is still a musician. He still is recording and creating music each day. This is all his life, and I believe I could have went the same way as he did. But at some point, I was already involved in this metallurgy business, and I was also working with my dad on this one. So when the band have split, I already was working and helping my dad. But this was the moment that really I believe that I need something to devote to 100%. So this is where it actually happened. And to be honest, from that moment, yes, 2014, it was because the band have ended up our career in 2013. And in 2014, we went for the show in Warsaw with the first J.Sikora Turntable. Yeah, exactly. That was the moment. It was the perception of what we have brought to Warsaw, to the audio show, and the reaction of people that made me think, oh my God, this is something more than I ever thought. Because yet before, my father was building turntables for himself because his love and his passion, and for his friends, which actually them pushed him, go to Warsaw, show it. So we took the small room, we presented completely J.Sikora system because it was my father's personal listening room system, and we played. And then I realized when people were coming, when people were staying in the room, how they were reacting. I have thought to myself that if I'm not gonna go for that 100%, I may lose this momentum and this potential which these devices have, and my father's work of life actually have.
What is your role in your company today?
At the moment, I'm the owner of the company. It's from this year. I have become the owner. My father has now retired. He's 75, so he deserves some vacation. So actually, I run the company now. I own her, and also I'm the CEO. So all the key decision in the company, no matter if it's about the marketing, cooperation, new product or workers, actually belongs to me. I also have my friends, advisors, and it's not only J.Sikora, it's Robert Sikora. Yes, we have a wonderful team in Lublin, Poland. It's not only Adam, my friend and engineer who I brought here with me, who is doing all the setups of turntables, but also the great team of 6 people working at the manufacturing process.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's one hard lesson you learned the first time you tried to turn a brilliant workshop object into a repeatable product?
There were so many moments like that when I realized, I think it's when this problem appears is when you start becoming popular and you have to really release some more product than just one that you can focus your all attention on, when you have to be able to replicate everything and have no issues. At the very beginning, of course, it was quite problematic because to standardize everything and be able to keep this incredibly high level of quality, it's always the moment which you are the one-man high-end company, and if you want to become a real company, yes, it's not like investing, and it's also mostly investing your time because you have to focus on everything. I think this is the main key problem that distracts all the brilliant designers to become not only designers, but also to run a real business in this extremely, difficult branch and business, which is high-end audio.
Your brand ties metallurgy, industrial design, and craftsmanship together. What would be the day like at your workbench?
The day starts, with regular procedure, which is not that romantic, which is sitting in front of your computer and checking the emails. Go say hi to the team and see what is happening, controlling that. Of course, once it's done, you play on some music in the showroom, even as a background to what you are doing. So, between these 3 places, all the action is happening. And I think it's like, doing your regular jobs, like everyone have to be done in the office, like going to the manufacturing process and checking and seeing things. Sometimes it's more exciting when we are designing some new elements or new products. Sometimes it's less exciting. It's just checking if we're gonna make the orders on time. And of course, the very crucial part of this all, which is the music. It must be there. So we try to listen to music every day. This work is so very multiple, orientated that sometimes the full day of your work is just spending time at the event with the artist, because we also organize events with artists at our company. We also we travel, that we do the shows. So it works like that. But from the designing perspective, being with engineers, telling them, actually showing the way, because these are brilliant people, but someone has to, control it. Someone has to have this final vision.
What defines the J.Sikora sound across the models?
I believe the philosophy behind the products is all the same. So I think they offer more or less the same sound. If you know J.Sikora sound and you have been listening it in the system that you will already find out what is the key aspects of the J.Sikora sound. I believe that in all levels of J.Sikora turntables, you will get the same sound characteristic with a very, very tight. I think that in full range of sound, from the higher tones to the really tight bass, I think is very important, because many turntables, also what is very often considered as an analog sound, is something that makes you think the sound is warm and the sound is actually rounded, something like that. But it's also, people think that because the devices are not that well engineered. They were not that well engineered in the past. So this creates some illusion that digital sounds like bright, tight, and everything is put together in the right places. Well, analog is nostalgia, so it may be kind of not that precise and everything, and so full range, great sounding. So I believe on today's level of designing turntables, it has blurred together with digital. Sometimes if you wouldn't hear this small texture in sound, you would, in the blind test, you may have today problem to say which is digital, which is vinyl. Of course, for someone who knows all about the vinyl and really is into that, you will feel the vinyl immediately, And I'm not talking about cracks and pops that you will hear, but what you will feel about this texture, about this everything. So I think that all Sikora turntables have this, piece of J.Sikora sound.